building up this Supreme Arena Mistress from Artel Miniatures, Artel W Miniatures. Man, if you were watching my last stream, if you were one of the four people that were watching, I had to jump off because I heard my wife calling for me. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning here, and there's a little bit of just a little bit of a baby, not an emergency, but he wasn't sleeping well. So I had to run up, take care of that before I could come back. And so my apologies for that. Sorry for jumping off. If you are still hanging out and working on your own hobby, welcome back. Part two, the sequel. This is like Peter Jackson splitting up The Hobbit into three movies when it really only needed to be one movie. That's what this build is. It didn't need to be two videos, but hey, you started with me on the live stream. Then welcome back. Grab a drink, grab something, and I'm gonna be actually running up to grab a cup of coffee that I've actually got brewing, and then I will be right back. So stay right here and have a look at this dwarf, and I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Just as I thought it was safe to get back to the table and start working again, man, appreciate any of you who are still hanging around. And for those of you who are watching this on the replay, sorry for that little gap. And thanks for joining me. My baby is not having a good night. So hopefully he stays down and I don't receive like a panic text from my wife. Fingers crossed. Let's get through the rest of this build and then I can go take care of that. So this is Supreme Arena Mistress from Artel W Miniatures. This is as far as we got in the first part of my video before I had to jump away. I just got back here. What time is it there though? It is 5 something in the morning. Thanks for jumping back in, Links Lord. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, 5:30 in the morning. I want to get through this build. I love all of this Artel miniature stuff that I was able to get from the company. I want to build all of them up. I've got 9 witches or witch stand-ins here in these 2 bags that I want to be unboxing. There's just so many options and bits, naked torsos, covered up torsos, different heads, and all sorts of things. So over the next couple of days, I want to be building these up and showing them side by side with the witches that I did paint up. If you have been following along with my July painting challenge, I did a boarding patrol for the Drukari faction. So that's, I think, 20 witches and 5 incubi, and then the succubus. And then I'm trying to show them side by side, do a little comparison between the Games Workshop sculpts and the Artel W miniature sculpts. And so far, everything that I've been seeing from the Artel W miniatures line is really, really nice when you compare it to Games Workshop stuff. I think it just looks more feminine, more graceful, more beautiful. Whereas the Games Workshop stuff, I mean, Lilith used to look really pretty in metal, even in fine cast. The sculpt of Lilith Hesprax looked really nice, and now she looks just not as nice in my opinion. Whereas the Artel W stuff looks terrific. And if you're wondering, I am in the middle of filming a how to paint Drukari skin tutorial. I was actually waiting for the shades, or the flesh shade to dry on this Supreme Gladiatrix Evia figure. I was waiting for the shades to dry, and I thought, oh, while I'm doing that, I might as well fire up the camera and do a live video of my assembly for a figure. They got scared of all the deviant art. Oh man. When you look, just on a whim, because I hadn't done this since I was painting a Dark Eldar years ago, I had Googled Dark Eldar or Drukari art, and I found, I saw stuff from the new codex, or the latest edition, and I found like fan art and all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, this is why I like this range so much, because it's so weird and crazy. All right, in the art that I looked at, her right arm was to the side and her left arm is up and pointing heroically. So, oh shoot, I also just realized, because I was so panicked to get this done while I was hearing stuff going on upstairs, she's actually supposed to be looking this way towards like where her leg is pointed up. But that's okay. Now she has much more of a I'm gonna dominate you pose with her head looking forward. Isn't that crazy? Like, just the angle of a head totally changes the effect of a model. Like if she was looking in this direction to where her leg is up and she's pointing her sword or her gun, she's going to be armed with a gun, then that is very obviously let's go over there and kill that thing pose. It's Craft World though. Did you are you talking about Games Workshop order? I know Artel W has some amazing Craft World stuff. Their warp spiders and their striking scorpions. That stuff looks terrific. The stuff that looks like alien or predators. I like how they really leaned into that aesthetic with them. All right, we're gonna go with the pistol. I gotta say, of all the Artel W stuff though, for the Drukari line, The pistol looks the most cartoony, the most like their previous editions. And that might just be an homage, like a cheeky little haha inside joke thing that their pistol looks like the old Splinter rifles. It's so ridiculous that Artel W Miniatures does these like beautiful, beautiful feminine sculpts with sharp edges and everything. And then their guns look so early 2000s. I just realized I might have clipped off more of this girl's little loincloth than I had anticipated. Hey, what's up, Blue? Yeah, that old Lilith is beautiful. Old Lilith is the way to go. This new Lilith, she scares me. All right, I wonder if this is still gonna work because her arm is supposed to be up and pointed with the Splinter rifle, or a Splinter pistol, sorry. It's a little tricky because now I'm having to get this arm in. Yeah, GW, the Artels are cool, but their helmets are a bit featureless. Yeah. I could see that. Games Workshop Craft World, I think they're doing some good stuff. Their Corsairs looks really good. The Harlequins always look good. Tricky to paint. I remember I painted some BL10 Eldar. Oh boy, where's the join? Where's the magic spot? Let's take a look. Okay, maybe it's supposed to go like that. Yo, Dicey, what's up, brother? My Dami mommy. Yeah, see how that really changes? Like, if she was looking at where she's going to be pointing, then that would be one thing. But I think the way she is now, where she's actually looking at you, it's a different effect. Yeah, that old Farseer and Warlocks. Ooh. I'm gonna have to green stuff a little bit more of her loincloth back. Oh, thank you, Dicey. It is a Artel W Miniatures Supreme Arena Mistress. So the reason why I'm building these is these models are going to fit nicely, obviously, into any Dark Eldar or Drukhari army. And I really want to see how they're going to look all painted up. I've got one model painted up. I'm going to try to build up and paint some more of them looking a little bit more clothed and covered up so I don't get hit with the age restriction on my videos. Otherwise, that algorithm is going to bury me, and I'm going to be like, oh man, what's even the point? But yeah, the rest of these, I've got some witches to build, and then I'm going to put them all together, and we'll take a look at them side by side with my Drukhari boarding patrol box. Boop. And there you have it. She is not going to look like much. I thought I would bring one of my witches with the Agonizer whip that I painted, but I realized it would kind of be unfair to place them side by side just because there's no paint on this model. I just built her. And if I was going to buy another one for $14.99 American, then yeah, I would definitely have her looking where she's pointing. Right now, she looks kind of silly, aiming her gun like this, but looking straight forward at you. It's almost like she's shooting someone blindly, whipping someone on the other side blindly. Oh, look at that. And making unbreaking, unflinching eye contact at you while she's doing it. Ooh, spooky. And she's got that mask on. Oh, terrific. So I'll just let you know what my plan is moving forward, guys. I am actually going to be doing a bunch of tutorials. Tonight, since I think her flesh wash just finished, I'm going to finish the tutorial for my Supreme Gladiatrix Maevia figure, just for her skin. And then I'm going to be doing a tutorial for hair. Somebody on the Drukari Discord server asked me what my recipe was for my other Artel W miniatures skin and hair. So I'm going to be finishing those tutorials tonight. And then I'm going to be, like, I did go out and I spent my own money because Games Workshop just refuses to answer my calls. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on Lilith here. And I mean, see, look at the difference between these two miniatures. I'm not even going to compare her to her. I did this in the last video where I built them side by side. I'm not going to compare my Liliths together. The Drukari starter box is godly, though, or are you planning a boarding patrol project? Yeah, I actually did a boarding patrol project in July. The tricky thing with that was that I started it because I knew I would be working with Artel W miniatures, and so my goal was to paint up the witches and then get this Arena Gore Festival box and then just compare them, like how I'm doing right now. Unfortunately, that July was when I had to make an unscheduled trip to the in-laws, and it really messed up my timetable. So I'm trying to catch up now. I've got a bunch of other projects that I'm working through, some Carcharodons, some miniatures for my patrons from Patreon. But my goal with the Drukari stuff is that I want to finish the Drukari box, which right now is just some incubi, and then the fine details on my witches. I've got 20 witches almost all painted up. I have to highlight the hair. I have to re-highlight the skin. I just added the blue washes to their skin, so now it looks pretty much like this girl's skin, but with some deep blue washes. I do have to highlight them back up to look like very pale and spacey, old, like, you know, alien, otherworldly, not human. And then once that's done, I want to paint up all the rest of these. Can't wait to see them. Yeah, thanks, Links Lord. It helps me to vocally say what I'm planning on doing, because then I can visualize it more. Okay, but let's take a look just at this. This Lilith Hesperex model cost me 45 bucks, American, my own money. And when you place her here against this Drukari, or not Drukari, this Supreme Arena Mistress from Artel W Miniatures, this costs $15 if you get it American. And I think I talked to somebody, or I got a comment from someone in Australia that said the shipping there is just insane, and the prices there are just so much worse. And it made me think of a lot of my Australian viewers from back in the day, like Mikey's Miscasts, and other people from that part of the world would really identify how bad that problem was with shipping there from other places. So if you can get Artel W miniatures, it's very, very comparable. I think it's like you're saving money to getting stuff from Games Workshop. I think if there's any characters you want, you're definitely going to be serviced by going and getting them. Like the sculpt for this Maevia model is just so beautiful. The way she's leaping her, see, like, look at just their legs. How the Artel one has her leg hooked up. I don't dislike the new GW, but the other mini is vastly more characterful. Yeah, even if you don't have the orc, if you've got her doing this flip with her hair attached to, I think there's like a little bit of rubble, and it looks like she's just leaping through the air, spinning around, and her hair spinning around her. Hey, Leo, you know what? It's so funny. Leo, I was going to actually, when you wrote that comment, when you wrote that comment earlier about how you were watching like a silent movie because you didn't have your earphones working, I was actually gonna turn on, I was gonna show this, but this was back when you were like the only person watching this. I was gonna say, Leo, turn on your captions. But then I realized you could hear me, right? Oh no, no, you couldn't hear me. You couldn't hear me. That's right. You couldn't hear me. I was like, could you not hear me? And but you could type, but then you couldn't hear me, and that's because you didn't have your earphones. Okay. uh, so yeah, just to finish out, guys, I love the Artel W miniature stuff. Um, I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have asked to become a part of their affiliate program if I didn't really like their stuff. And it's not just their Dark Eldar stuff either. I want to eventually um, do some reviews on, like, they just came out with a Doom Rider model for any of you who remember that miniature. It was absolutely ridiculous, like a Chaos Space Marine on a bike, that just with all sorts of nonsense. And in the fluff, like officially the Doom Rider model. And they released a miniature last month. That's the Doom Rider model with like a demonette of Slanesh, like riding on the back or like topless. It's just ridiculous and fun and characterful. And it's for some reason the a lot of people, I'm not going to say the entire community, but a lot of people on the Discord think that the Artel stuff is just uh, silly, like gratuitous nudity and unrealistic. And I think somebody wrote a comment um, about how their Dark Eldar stuff looks like. Yeah, yeah, they can have their orgies in their pleasure palaces, but they're not going to show up uh, to battle topless. And I think they would. I think they're so crazy and hedonistic and like sadistic that yeah, exactly, Blue. That's like I didn't know how to explain it because I feel like you can't get into an argument with people who have their minds made up. But I read the lore, and like, their city's called Camorra for crying out loud, and their whole thing is like hedonistic pleasure cults and seeking to like delve into the deepest depravities. I was like, of course they would. They know the Imperium is all these like stuck up, yeah, flesh crafting. Like they know the Imperium is so buttoned up and stuffy and what's the word? Just very, very buttoned down, right? So I think they would definitely show up with. I think one of them would probably tell their witches like, oh yeah, show up with your tops out, and they just show up topless. Let's see what the Imperium does, and let's just laugh at them. The old yeah, prudes. That's a good word. The old Azrael Vect model had two. I'm not gonna call them what I think they are, but they're slaves on his pleasure barge, riding around in battle. So like, I don't understand the argument that Artel Miniatures just creates gratuitous stuff. I think you know why though, because a lot of 3D printers and a lot of companies lately have been putting out like Kingdom Death like models that appeal to a certain aesthetic, right? But I think the Artel stuff really matches the lore of the Drukhari. They're making their models beautiful and graceful and also deadly looking. Like this Lilith, not Lilith, with the hooks and the barbs and the everything in her hair, like how long her hair is and how it's whipping around her like a little hurricane or a tornado rather. I think is terrific. And the fact that they've sculpted this very beefy, fighty looking orc just to have his eyeball like poke through under his chin like this is just terrific. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I don't want to lose any subscribers or viewers or whatever because of this whole thing. But I really like the direction that they've gone in. Artel's deep, like no joke, more so. Lilith's hair is a weapon. That's true. Yeah, that's right, Blue. And even more so, like look at this Lilith. You got a couple of hooks, and it's like flipping behind her. But I think even the old Lilith, the metal fine cast one, her hair was so big, and the way it whipped around her, it did look like a weapon. This one just looks like I don't know. This one looks like uh, a human that's cosplaying as Lilith Hesprax. I want the Raid Master. Yeah. Oh, do they do a female Raid Master? That Raid Master with the slaves is such an amazing sculpt. So good. I really, really like that Raid Master sculpt. Um, yeah, if I do review more Artel W miniatures, I think I might do yeah, like you said, the Imperial Guard, the Jurgen and Caiaphas Kane. You get all the options. That's so terrific. I was like, ooh, male slaves or female slaves, and you can do either the male or female raid master. It's just so awesome. It's so terrific. I can't like speak like highly enough about the quality of Artel, like the creativity. Let's say creativity. Their flesh, homunculus and racks and grotesques. Those look so good. When I was deciding that I want to go with the witches or the mandrakes looking bundle or the flesh crafting one, it really was only down to the fact that I could go out and get a boarding patrol of witches, majority witches with a succubus. And then I can get the Artel bundle and I can compare them side by side. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to finish painting up this Lilith. This Lilith. I'm going to paint up this not Lilith. We're going to compare them. And I can tell right now, just looking at them, which one is going to look nicer once it's all painted up. But I'm going to paint this to the best of my quality, best quality of my, that I'm able to pull off. And when I'm finished painting this entire Arena Gore Festival bundle, then I'm really really gonna enjoy like putting them side to side with the boarding patrol. The boarding patrol project was fun because the Games Workshop models, those witches weren't. Uh, it I didn't realize they were released like 13 years ago. 2010 was when they redid the Dark Eldar line. So painting them up, you can tell the age of them, but they still did look good for the time. They were cutting edge, right? The females looked like the scale of the female witches were much nicer than anything that they had done for like human shaped models for Games Workshop at the time. The offerings in plastic were Imperial Guard, which were like the Cadian shock troopers, and the super old catechins. And then, yeah, they didn't have any plastic Sisters of Battle then. So you only had for human, quote unquote, human shaped, human sized stuff, you had the Eldar, which were mostly all covered up. You didn't really see their faces. The Dark Eldar do like some cutting edges. Hey, oh, you had the Eldar, which didn't really have any female figures, female sculpts, right? I don't think there were any female Eldar sculpts back then. I think you might have had an unhelmeted head in the Guardians box. But even the Dire Avengers box didn't have unhelmeted heads. You don't have any unhelmeted Harlequins, striking scorpions, like the Howling Banshees. They're talked about as being female, but you never see them. There were female Guardians? Oh, okay. I know there was like an unhelmeted Guardian head that most people paint blonde, but like at the time, when was that sculpt done? I couldn't really tell with the features if they were more feminine or masculine for the Eldar. But yeah, at the time, I remember the Dark Eldar, people were like, whoa, there are female Kabalite warriors. Like there are breastises on that torso and female witches dancing around and like doing acrobatics. And they were all wearing this weird S&M, like ripped up black leather pants and tops. And it was very, very fun to get into the Dark Eldar line just because they looked so different and alien, but at the same time there was like the mix of sexiness, and there were the male witches mixed up too. And I remember thinking like you can really just mix up the torsos, right? The male torsos and the female torsos, because the legs, they all shared the same legs. But that was fun, man. That was a good time. And then I remember the raiders and the ravagers having the crew just hanging off of it, and it's like you're painting infantry, but you're you don't feel the infantry. You just hang them as decoration on the raiders. Like I love that. The Venom, the crew, the pilot, and the gunners. Man, talking about it just makes me want to collect a Dark Eldar Drukhari army again, and then just have like a bunch of Artel W stuff. So yeah, it's we're getting on 30 minutes. As much as I love just talking and hanging out with you guys, there are a ton. I know. I just bust out my Andrew Lloyd Webber, start singing Memory again. Uh, I've got a ton of more projects that have nothing to do with Dark Eldar, so I'm gonna call it here, get to painting some space sharks, and finishing up my Heroes of Hobbyton miniatures. But thanks for watching, guys and gals, whenever you are, wherever you are in the world. This is the miniature that this video was about. Had to break it into two parts because the lady boss needed some help putting the baby back to sleep earlier. And yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on. Blue, Dicey, Leo, Lynx Lord, thanks for hanging out and commenting and chatting. It always makes these streams so much more fun when you have people bouncing off and riffing off of. And I got to figure out how to make the comments visible in my live streams after I'm done filming them, because that's a problem that I watch my live streams after just to see how I did, see what I can improve on, and I don't see the comments. I just hear myself reacting to them. But anyways, this is a Supreme Arena Mistress, $14.99 US dollars if you want to get her from Artel Miniatures, and get your wife that leg armor. Will do, Lynx Lord. Get her some Dark Eldar leg armor and some chunky heels like this. Woohoo! But yeah, the 14.99 is great. It's a great deal, and especially if you want to have a characterful Dark Eldar witch in your army, succubus, maybe even. Definitely, yeah, she's a definite substitute for the succubus if you want to include one in your army. I've got that link down below in the description. I've also got a link to the Arena Gore Festival bundle. That's the one that I'm working through. It has her, it has the not Lilith here, it has the other female model I did, and then 9 witches for her to lead. So check that out too. Great savings and great way to get a bunch of different beautiful Dark Eldar sculpts that I'm probably guessing nobody in your gaming club is going to have. You're going to bust these out, and they're going to say like, wow, when did Games Workshop release that model? They didn't. It's Artel W, baby. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night, great day wherever you are in the world, and keep painting. We'll see you in the next video.